given an array of unique character, which is x, y, z, and string, which is str. Okay, implement a function get shortest unique substring that finds the smallest substring of str containing all the characters in array. Okay. Return an empty string if the substring does not exist. Come up with an asymptotically optimal solution and analyze it. Okay. So if I have x, y, z in the array and I have this string, I need to return z, y, x, which is okay, the last three character, right?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
yeah, okay, because okay, makes sense. Okay. Mm-hmm.
And then another thing to keep in mind is that the characters in array are unique as well. So you won't have any like X, X, Y, Z. It'll just be one
Yeah,
character.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to do something like if I start iterating through the string, I will start with x.
Mm-hmm.
I need, by the way of the other, check if the x is exists in the array.
Right.
So I think we can keep it in set or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If we have set, if we convert this array to be a set
Okay.
and check if the x is exist inside the set, yes. So we need to continue. If the y inside the set, yes, we need to continue. And if y mhm, inside the set, but now we have two repeated character, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's maybe will be the answer, right?
Right.
So we need to ignore the y and continue if z is a set, right?
Uh-huh.
So the best answer we have now is from x, y, y, z,
Right.
and we need to continue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we need to consider it from. This is a problem.
So now you get run into issue, right? Because you have Y, but there's nothing in your set anymore.
Yeah, yeah. The solution I have in my mind
Uh-huh.
is order n square, but I think we can do it better.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because if we have two pointer and
Uh-huh.
we can
And you're.
swap the window between them, but it will be n square, which is not optimal. So I'm thinking,
Are you thinking of just going through every single substring and checking? Is that what you're
yeah,
thinking?
yeah, something like that. Yeah, same last year, right, as you mentioned, but
Okay.
it will be impossible to solve it in n log n because we can't sort. So it will be the linear or n square, you know.
Yeah.
So we need to move to linear, which find a linear solution for that.
Right.
Okay. And
So do you have a way of maybe how you can determine if a substring is valid?
if I can, sorry.
If you can see how like the substring is valid, like what would be, how can you check for that? Like you said, you go through and
Yeah,
say your pointer is at 0 and 4,
yeah.
then what you would do is, um,
Okay.
yeah, you
Yeah,
would
yeah.
go
Okay.
through X, you take that out, you go to Y, you take that out of the set, you go to Z, you take that out of the set. Um, you could do that. I mean, if you wanted to like create a copy of the set
Yeah,
and then check, that's one way it could work.
yeah, but
Um,
it's complex. Maybe you can find something easier.
yeah, it is complex.
Maybe we need to convert posts of substring and the array to something which can be compared to each other to know to make sure that if it's equal to each other or not, right?
Okay.
So I'm thinking if we can. mm,
So how would you think that we could do this in an N approach? Like how would you iterate through the string?
yeah, my problem is if we need to iterate through, if we need to solve it in an approach, so we need to find a way to just make the comparison between the array and the substring in order one, which is in constant time. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking now how we can. We have two things. First thing, we need to how to divide the string to substrings. Second thing, how to can compare between the array and the string in a constant time.
Right.
So if they are unique, and if we sum the character, no, it should not be unique, right? No, it shouldn't, because if we have a
Can you say that last part again?
I'm thinking about sum the character to each other and having as a represent them as an integer, you know?
Okay.
Because if they are unique, x, y, z will give me a number, which is
You were thinking, okay, have some kind of code, like a
yeah,
hash code, and then compare
yeah,
it.
yeah. But
Yeah, but then if you, it gets a little difficult if you have repeat like x, y, y, z.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. In this case, it will not work. But I think we can do it, right?
Yeah, if
If
you
we
want to keep track of repeating characters.
exactly, if we can keep track with a repeated character,
Yeah.
so it will work, right? So if I have if through iteration goes through the substring, if I add an x to the set, y, and if I have y, I will not add it. But if I have a z, I will add it, and I will compare both of them if they are equal to each other, so it works. So now we can do that in linear time, right? Because the set adding and checking is a constant time, so
Yeah.
it will work. But now we have another task, which is how we can divide the string to substring. If we start with x, y, y, z, and we consider that as a solution with length 4, right?
Can you say that again?
If we start with x, y, y, z,
Right.
and we do the calculation and we consider it as a solution, so the solution with length 4, we need to find a way how we need to start the second substring, right?
Right. So you're saying we have x, y, y, z. That's kind of our result at this point.
Yes, exactly.
And then, so
So
how would you keep track of x and z? Like how you could use like 2 pointers, right? You can say
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
like start equals 0,
yeah,
and then end equals at this point would be 3.
yes, exactly.
So yeah, so say
But
we have x, y, y, z. We see okay, that's a correct solution.
yes,
We
but
add it to result. Yeah. Then how would we move forward?
yeah, this is the question.
Yeah.
So
So right now at this point we want to find a smaller string, right?
yes,
So maybe we can move one of the pointers a certain way.
but yeah, if we move one of the points straight away, so we will move the x to be on y, so we will have one
Right.
on y
So
and one on z.
so yeah, so you're saying we have 1 and 3. So now it doesn't meet the constraints.
Yeah, so we
Okay.
need to continue with the z. You will
Right.
find the y, you will skip the y. You will find z, you will skip the z. You will find the y, you will skip the y. You will find the x finally. So the result will be
Right. So you're moving your end
7.
pointer, right? So you
Yeah,
have
so it will
1.
be 7.
So at this point you're at 1 and 7.
Yeah,
You see that it does meet the constraints because you have
no,
you have x, y, and z at this point. So you know that it is a valid string,
yeah, but it's not the best one.
but it's
So
not the best one.
I need to try to make it smaller.
Right.
So I will start moving the one.
Right.
Yeah, I think this one is working. It will be linear time.
Yeah, so it'll be 2, 3, 4,
Yeah,
and then finally you get to 5 and you
yeah,
see that
it is the
it's
best answer.
valid, it's better than result, and then you would
Yeah,
have
I
that.
think this one will work.
Okay. So now we have how we're going to move. We'll have like a window that we're moving down the
Yeah,
string.
yeah,
Okay. Now we need to know how to keep track of what we've seen and what we haven't seen.
yeah. We can do that using a hash map, right?
You can use a hash map. Yeah, that gives you
Yeah. The key
constant.
with the char, the key will be the character with the char, and the value will be how many times we found this in the substring we have.
So you have the count of each character.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Because I need to know if I move the left cursor to the right, which
Yeah.
is moving the one starting from y to be the start at 5, as you mentioned. we need to know if I'm losing some character which is important for me, or if it doesn't matter to this character, right?
Okay.
So, yeah.
So when you move start forward, you're gonna remove it from, or you're gonna decrement.
Yes,
Is that what you're?
decrement, exactly. I will decrement
Okay.
it from the hash map. If I reach 0, so this is an invalid solution, so I need to consider a new solution, so I need to move the right cursor, not the left one,
Right.
right?
Okay.
So I think we can write a solution for that.
Okay. Do you want to write like a pseudocode, or do you want to? You can start coding. It's up to you.
No, I think I can start coding. It doesn't
Okay.
take too much time.
Okay.
So let me divide it in a very small things. So what we need to do now, we need to have a method which we can give it a string, and this method will calculate. Let me check something. If we, yeah, but we need at some point to know if it's a valid solution or not. So we need to, okay. So we need, I would code in C++ to make it easier. Okay. So we need some method. This method we can, it can return an integer, and can call it get hash for get hash code. Okay. And this string will take a string as, okay,
Okay.
and have integer answer, which is initially p0, and all it does is just iterating through this string. Okay, and every time all it will do, it will make I plus equal the representation for this string, so we can make it s of I like that, right? And after finishing, we can return the answer, right? And here this one should be the answer, sorry. Okay.
So this is getting the ASCII value.
Yeah, something like that, or the hash implementation for the string, right?
Okay.
We are sure that it will be unique, right?
Okay.
Okay. So getting the hash code for a string. So what we need to do here, we need initially to have 2 pointers. One we can call it left, and one we can call it right.
Okay.
Okay. So initially we will have the left will pointing to 0, and the right one initially will point to also 0. So both of them are now starting with an x, right? But before that, we need to get the hash representation for the given array, right? So if we have vector of a char, we can have integer for the target, which is our target to get the hash representation, and we can make a new string given it array. If we have a constructor for the string, which can take a vector of character and just convert to a string,
Okay.
and just pass this one here. So, and here we need to call get hash and passing this one here, right? Okay. So the target now is what we are seeking to get. Exactly. So here, let's start moving. We need to start iterating. So the condition which we need to take in consideration that while, okay, let me first have a string. We can call it anyway answer, which is an empty string, right? Which is the best answer, which we need to return at some point. Here we need to make return answer. And while working, we will have something can call it temp. Okay. And here the condition we need to stop that while j is smaller than str the size. Okay, because we are sure that the j, sorry, let's call it left.
Okay.
Okay, so because no, right. So the right one would be the fastest than the left, right?
Right.
Because now what we need to do now here, we need also to define the hash map. So we need a map. The map will be of a char and integer, and we can call it m. Okay. On each character, what we need to do, we need first to consider if we have a valid string, and if it's not valid, we need to check if it exists in the map or not, and we need to update the count for this char, right? So what we need to do now, we need to get the current hashing for the substring which we have, which in our case here is only one character, right? So we will have integer, which is current hash, right? It will be calling get hash for the string, which we need to consider inside temp, right? So we need here to make temp plus equal tr. So every time we have from I to j, so every time we need to increment j, right?
So so you mean right?
Yeah,
Right.
sorry,
Okay.
right.
So every time you're adding, so temp is
An
temp is a
empty string.
string, and then you're
Yeah,
kind of building that string.
exactly.
Okay.
So every time I will try to add a new one from the right, exactly,
Okay.
and I need to get the current hash. I need here two cases. I have two cases. First one, if the current hash is equal the target which I'm checking for, so we are sure that the substring is valid, right?
Yeah.
But I need to make some check. I need here to do if the character we will add does not exist before in the substring we have, right?
Right. So I actually have a question
Yeah,
about the get hash method.
yeah,
So you're going through your current string, and you're adding the ASCII value to it.
yeah.
So if you have like AAA, would that be the same as A B, or I guess let's do BBB and then A B C. Wouldn't those be the same?
No, no.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Wouldn't they? Because
I
there
agree
would
with you,
be.
but yeah, I agree with you, but it depends because I will not send PPP. Okay, I got your point.
Yeah, because it would be 98, 98, 98, and then 97, 98, 99.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Give me a second.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So, I mean, there is a way that you can edit the get hash to do this. I do like, I mean, you could still use it,
Okay.
but
Okay. But I think the case you mentioned, it can be handled, right? Because no. Okay. 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 Let's assume that this hash
uh,
code will return a unique
okay.
value for the
Sure,
character.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, if we consider a new character, what we need to check? We need to check if this character. Um, I got lost. Uh,
It's okay.
I was no, it's okay. I was thinking to check something here. Let me think. Was it? Um, we adding a new character to the right to the substring. So what we need to check that if this character will exist or not exist. Yeah, I think that's what I need to check. I can't. I think this code can work, and your case will not work if I will not take in consideration the repeated character inside temp, right?
Uh huh.
I don't need to. I will not have a case which I can have AAA and APC because in temp I will not add AAA. I will only add a unique character, right? And because I have the window between left and right, so it will work, right?
So when you have X, Y, Y, Z, are you gonna
Okay.
just skip over?
Yeah, let me
Okay.
debug that with you. If I have x, y, y, z, in the
Yeah.
first time I will add x.
Uh huh.
Okay. So I will check here if if m dot find str of I str of I not equal
Equals.
not equal m dot end. What does that mean? So I already considered x before, right?
Uh huh.
What I need to do if I consider x before, so I don't need to add it to temp, but I need to only increment its counter inside the hash map. So I will make m of str of I plus plus. Exactly. So here we are going to have x, but we will not get here because we don't have it initially, right? We will back to this case again.
Okay.
So we'll back to the else here, and inside the else we need to insert it inside the map. So we are going to map to make something like that here. Okay. So here we have x with value 1, right? After that, what I need to do, I need to add this string into temp.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So temp now contain only x. Okay.
Okay.
And this point, I will try to get the current hash for the temp, which is x, if it equal current hash, so I can consider it as an answer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I need to know now the length for the current answer, which will be integer the current, and you can call it temp answer, which will be the left minus right plus 1. Okay. And what we need to do now, if the temp answer is smaller than answer.size, which means this is the better answer than the what we have before, right?
Mm-hmm.
We need now to get the substring between left and right, right? So
Right.
the answer will be str.substring between right, left, left, and right. Okay.
Okay.
And if it's not smaller than the one we have, should we do something? No, right? We don't need to do something. So let me continue
Mm-hmm.
and see what's happening. Next time, I will come here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I will be, and okay, after finishing all of that, we need to increment the right. So right plus plus. Okay. So we're coming here back again. The str of I will be pointing to y, right? So if the hash map containing y, no, we will getting here. So here we have also the y will be pointing to 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the temp now will be yx, and we will get the hash code here. It will not equal, so we will not do anything. We will increment the right, okay?
Okay.
Packing again, we're now pointing to another y. So if the y exists, yes, it exists. So we will increment it. So we have now the y pointing to 2, and the temp is the same, xy, right?
Right.
So we will not getting anything from here. We will increment right. And now we have z. So if the z doesn't exist here, so we will have here also z, which can pointing to 1. And now we have x, y, z, right?
Okay.
Which is will be the same as the current hash, with the same as the target, right? So we will getting here, the left is pointing to 0, and the right will pointing to 3.
Mm-hmm.
So it will be 3 minus 0 plus 1, which is 4. So the temp answer is 4, and the answer to size we can set it to anything large, okay?
Okay.
So it doesn't matter. So we can set it for the maximum string, doesn't matter now. So the 4 now will smaller than answer to size. So we will consider it as an answer, right? So the answer now containing x, y, y, z, right?
Right.
So what we need to do now, we need to move the left cursor, right?
Right.
So we need to make left plus plus. And what we need to do before that, we need to decrement the left character from the hash map and from the temp if it exists, right? It sure exists, right?
Right.
So what we need to do what we need to do here, we need to make m from str of left to make minus minus, because we are sure that it's a positive number. We need to decrement it by 1. And the problem now, we need to find the place for this character inside temp and remove it. right? Because temp now have x, y, z.
Mm-hmm.
And what we need to do now, we need to remove the x inside it, right?
Okay.
If it's unique, we are sure that it will be the first character from the left.
If what is okay, since temp is all unique, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we are sure that it's the first one from the left. So what we need to do now, we need to make temp equal uh, temp dot substring from 1 to temp dot size minus 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
So temp now back to be y, y, z.
Or it'll just be YZ, right?
Yeah, sorry, yeah, y, z, you're right.
Okay.
Okay, y, z, okay. And after that, we decrement the left. So the left now is pointing to 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
And here we will decrement the right. So the right will passing to the y. So we will, and y exists here. So y now will be 3. And x, y, z will be only x, y, right?
Right.
And it will not be the same. We will decrement the right thing. So we will have another z. So the z will be here with 2. And here we have x with 0. Okay. And we still have yz. We will decrement the y again. So the y will be 4. Okay. And at some point which we reach the x, we will add the x to be here 1. And here we will have the solution, which is y, z, x, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we will consider that as an answer, but when we do left dot minus right, it will be 8 minus 1, it will be 7 plus 1, which is 8. 8 will not be smaller than the answer we have, so we will skip this part, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So once we skip this part, what we need to do now, we need to try to make it small window, right? So in both cases, we need to remove this one from here.
So
This
what is your left and right now at this point? Is it
as it's point, the right is pointing to the last character, which is x,
okay?
and the left is pointing to the first y, which is at index 1.
Okay.
Okay, so what I need to do now, this is the correct answer, but it's not the best answer, right?
Um, right, but yeah, I mean, I think it's okay.
It's okay. So I will not getting here, right? This part will not be executed because the temp.answer will be greater than the answer.size,
Temp answer. So
right?
temp answer is
Because temp answer now is something like y, y, z, y, z, y, x, right? It's the temp answer.
um, yeah, or just yeah, answer,
And
right?
the answer, which is the best one now, which we have, is x, y, y, z.
Okay. What is a temp answer?
Temp answer?
Yeah, the temp answer is just
Yeah,
the
it's a length, yeah.
size, right?
Yeah, the
Okay.
size. So we can, yeah.
Okay. Temp
So,
size is less than that.
yeah.
Yeah, right. So temp at this point, temp answer is not less than answer dot size.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Okay.
So this part will not be executed,
Yeah.
right? So, but what we need to do now, we need to try to find a best answer. So we need to make the window narrower as much as we can. So we need to remove the left cursor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we need to get in the else, which is a problem here.
But yeah. So right there on line 35, you are moving the left there, but you're saying
Yeah,
it won't move because you won't ever
yes,
get into this if statement. Okay.
yeah. So in the else, I will try to do something similar in this logic and we can separate it later, okay?
Mm-hmm.
What we need to do, we need also to decrement the count for the most left character,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we need to update the temp by that. But at this time, we're not sure that the character is the most left one in the temp. Yeah. Because here we will have x, which is temp.
Yeah, that's what temp is right now.
Yeah. But yeah, if it will work this time. But second time, once we remove the y and we need to remove the z, z is not the most recent one to the left, right? Okay.
Mhm.
So we need we need um mm,
So at this point, temp answer is YYZ XYZ. So then once you see a Y,
yeah,
then you would want to, you're trying to remove this, right? Temp.
yeah.
And
It
then
will work.
once you
It
get to the
will work.
next Y,
Okay. Yeah,
well, can't you already, since there is no Y, maybe you could just skip
yeah.
over it.
No, I know. No, 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 no. We need to check. We need to check the count for in the hash inside the hash map, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if the count is one, we need to remove it. If it's more than one, we don't need to remove anything from the temp because we are sure that we have another y, which is valid inside the temp, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we need to check if we are sure that it's a valid value, so we're sure that y is already exists. So if str dot left have a greater value than one, oh, okay. If it equal one, because I'm sure that it will be at least once because this is still a valid answer. So if it's one, which mean I need to remove it from the temp, and I need also to remove it from the hash map, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I need to decrement from the hash map first, and after that I need, by the way of the other, do something like that here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I need to update the left. So at this point here, I have temp, which is y, z, x, right? And I will check if str dot left, which is y, if m of y equal 1, no, because m of y is 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or 4, which is, we have it here. So we will skip this part, and we need only to, no, we need to do these two things, which is we need to decrement it once. Very complicated.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So I think maybe just once you see that the hash is equal to the target, then you should always be moving to the left. You should be moving left one. I think maybe that might make it a little easier, right?
Okay.
Once the current hash equals target, then you know you're going to be moving left plus plus. So you don't need it in like
Okay.
multiple areas. Maybe that's something. Um,
Yeah. Okay. Okay. It's okay.
yeah.
We can skip it because we are over the
Yeah.
time.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
I think you had a good, it was a good idea. I actually hadn't seen it solved like that before.
Yeah.
If you actually look at what the answer that they give me, they use a hash map that keeps the count of all the characters.
Yeah.
So it'll be like x maps to 0, y maps to 0, z maps to 0,
Mm-hmm.
and then they also have a unique counter
Mm-hmm.
which equals 0.
Mm-hmm.
So they go through the string and then they see, okay, x. Um, yeah, so they'll have like x is 1. Um, and then they check if the unique counter is equal to array.size. So
Mm-hmm.
unique counter would be 1 at this point because x was 0, and then you add a y, then unique counter was 2, then you add
Mm-hmm.
another y, it's still 2, and then you add a z and it's 1, and unique counter is 3. And then at this point you would add the string. This would be like your result at this point.
Yeah.
Um, result equals, yeah, let's see, x,
X,
y,
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 Z.
z. And then
Mm-hmm.
once you get to, and then you would have the window, and then you would move the window, that start plus plus
Yeah.
or left plus plus like you had it.
Yeah.
Um, and then you would remove the x, and then unique counter would be 2.
It's the same idea.
It's the same idea, yeah, it's the same idea.
Yeah. Same
Uh,
idea,
but
but it's simpler.
yeah, yeah, obviously the way they had it was simple.
Yeah.
Um,
Same idea, but simpler. Yeah.
but
Okay.
I think it was a good attempt. I mean, yeah, it's actually a leak code problem. I saw it. It's a leak code hard if you wanted to look at it
Yeah. Do you
some
know?
more.
Do you know the name for this problem?
I'm sorry.
The name for the problem on LeetCode.
Um, somewhere. Let's see. Let's see. I'm trying to pull it up. I think it's called minimum window substring number 76. Yeah, number 76. So hello. Oh, I think I lost him.